Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome. My name is Obinda. Welcome. I want to share with you some thoughts on what I call entrepreneurs development process. Entrepreneurs development process, and you hear this term almost everywhere. It's a popular word now. People are saying, those graduates who can start a job, they should become entrepreneurs, start their own jobs, and they are encouraging. See, we are producing a lot of people out of our colleges, out of our universities, and we are teaching them just to come and look for job. And the reality is that the jobs are not that many, and so there will be a lot of interventions, and government politicians will make some programs to at least help people to get a job, and that could be a good start, I think. But the kind of entrepreneurship that I'm talking about is beyond the one that politicians are trying to help you to get. I'm talking of the one that you see, you have to drive to create the future that you want. In any generation, they say that just about 1 to 5% of the people really can become entrepreneurs, and I think that Africa must have more than just the 1 to 5%. If you look at it, over maybe 3 to 500,000 people are being churned out from the universities every year, and they are all fighting for jobs. The government machinery does not employ more than 600,000. So you can imagine from the last 10 years how many people we have pushed into the system, and they are looking for job. Most of them must start to go through the process themselves, and hopefully they'll be able to establish a business that will employ one, two, three, 10, 100 thousands of people. You know, we also must make sure that we start to get people to think this way, and that there's nothing wrong if you have completed college and you say that I want to build a business. But there are processes that you have to go through from now to the time that you'll be able to get the skill, the required skills to build this business that will be profitable. Depending on your background, depending on what you're starting with, depending on what you know, depending on the family that you're coming from, depending on even the environment, the kind of business that you start, the technical expertise that you have, the character that you have built yourself, the kind of information that you carry as an entrepreneur, it will decide how many years that you're able to get to a state where you start to build a profitable business and be proud of it. So one of the things that I will talk about is trying to find yourself. You have to find yourself as an entrepreneur. Find yourself as an entrepreneur. It means that you have to have a higher reason, or a higher sense of purpose. You're not just going into it because you can find a job. Then when you find a job, you leave it. You will quit. So none of us was created by God, the Creator, the Almighty, without gift. All of us were given gift and talent. Now you have to find yourself if you want to go through the process as an entrepreneur. You must have a reason why you are starting that business that you're starting, why you think you have that talent, why you think you are equipped, why you must, the path seems to be a bit hazy and crazy. The path seems to be very confusing for a lot of people because they don't go in with that sense of mission, that sense of purpose. They think that they have nowhere to go and they have nothing to do, therefore they must start a business. No, you must go in with that clarity that this is what I think I should do. And the letter I know is that it's better to start to do something than stay at home for 3 years, 4 years, hoping that somebody else will give you a job. No matter how trivial it is, even if it's biscuit that you can sell, even if it's a chinchinga that you can sell, even if it's wachi, whatever that you can do, because the essence of it is not so much the product, but the expertise that you start to gather once you start to do something with yourself. So build a business around build the business with that sense of purpose as well. Says self-identification or self-identity is that critical. You must be certain, at least, that you have that, sense of identity. Who are you? What do you stand for? What would you not, do? What would you do? What do you think? What makes you different from the others? So you have to have that kind of philosophy. Find yourself as an entrepreneur because you're going to go through a journey that almost every time something is against you. And if you're not settled within, especially if you're not confident, if you don't build that confidence as an entrepreneur, it will be very much difficult. And the thing is that most people who become, who go through the processes to become some kind of, successful entrepreneurs, they have some level of confidence and courage, because it's all about risk, it's all about uncertainty. And, in order to keep your peace, you must at least be sure that you know yourself. And so find yourself as an entrepreneur is very much important. And when you meet your friends who are showing the keys, especially the first 2, 3, 4 years of the journey, you meet some of your friends who have become, managers, directors, they have job, they're paid, and you don't even know what you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. And not that you even have money. The thing about it is that when you start, so most of it, you would even, you're not, you don't have the money. And when you start to get into trouble, sometimes debt. Debt. And you meet all these guys and, they're showing. But it's a different journey. And you must understand that it's a whole different part from the one with the job. So when you start to build yourself, you have to have that clarity of thought that this journey is different from the others. I'm going to go through a lot of things, and hopefully I'll get to a point that I start to succeed as an entrepreneur. So it's a whole different thing. I'm not talking about somebody just trying to find a food to eat. I'm talking about somebody who's trying to build himself as an entrepreneur, somebody who's trying to build themselves as an entrepreneur, and you're going to think as one, and you are going to use your scale. You're going to build systems and structures, and hopefully you'll be able to employ people and start to build, because nations have developed with that. They have been able to produce a lot of people who have been able to go through this process. And now they are, most of these conglomerates that you see around, they were started by people like that. And of course, most of them had support from their government in terms of the enabling environment, economic, policies and things like that. But the drive came from the entrepreneurs, those who wanted to make meaning. They had that sense of meaning. So you must know that. The other thing that I want you to understand is that there will be cultural, academic, or school and religious clash. You must understand that entrepreneurship requires a lot of critical thinking, and you need a lot of skills in terms of problem solving. And so the school gave us, the school will conform us to think like everybody else. The culture will try to conform you, and the religion will also try to, conform us. So as an entrepreneur, you're solving problems all the time. You cannot be that superstitious, and you cannot be somebody who agrees with everything. If you agree with everything, you cannot stand out. You cannot be different. You cannot be separate from them. And once you agree with everybody, then you'll be scared to start anything on your own. So that's why most people who have very high education have very, very high education, that much risk averse, because then by the time you're through with this long education, all the things that you can fight with in terms of starting a business, maybe they become numbed. So you will have that opposite thinking. You have to at least use your mind, use your brain. You have to be critical in thinking. You cannot just copy what they gave you. You cannot just bring out what they gave you. You must question, because when you're questioning things, when we're asking questions, what you ask them, why are we pouring this waste here? Why not here? Why are we doing it this way? Why not this way? Who said that this is not possible? Almost everything is possible to the entrepreneur. You just, you want to find, and that's why people have gone to all stretch. So the more we produce people who also, or who only think like everybody else, the group think is not good. It's not good for an entrepreneur. If you really want to start a business and build product, build something more, and build something worthwhile, you have to have that level of thinking, which is probably opposite a lot of the things that you hear. So you want to look at the culture and question why do we still continue to do this when we are not getting results? You are questioning. You look around the environment, you look around the room, you look at your mates, you want to ask why. You're always asking why, and you're open to get results, and you have to have that setting, of thinking. So ask a lot of questions and dare to be different. That is what entrepreneurship requires. Ask questions, dare to be different, and be ready to be convinced as well. So know that the school, the culture, the religion have, in a way, given us a lot of disadvantages in terms of entrepreneurship, because then they box us to be scared and to behave like everybody else. But for you to think as an entrepreneur and start business and build systems and structures around it and start to employ people, you most likely have to be different, because you are trying to create something that maybe somebody has not done, or even if they have done it, you are creating something that you think should be better than what is in existence, and that requires that you are really using your brain. Because to create a product, to create a process, to develop anything, it requires a lot of askings, a lot of questions. And you have to be asking and never be ashamed. Never think that so you're asking questions, somebody will think that you're an idiot. It doesn't matter. Just keep asking. You never know. Those who have discovered anything, those who have innovated anything, those who have created anything, they did so because they ask a lot of questions. So when you come from a background that they are trying to tell you don't use your brain, then you will see that you will not be able to produce a lot of entrepreneurs, because it requires a lot of answers, a lot of questions to be asked, and a lot of answers to be had. The third one I want to talk about is knowledge, skill, and resource. The more knowledge you have, the more you can develop that knowledge into skill. And then once you have skill, you can get resource. Once you have skill, you can get resource. Create the right environment to get resource. Knowledge, character, environment is responsible for resource. Knowledge is the requirement needed to build the right skill set. Character and environment really establish skill, and that is what is needed to get resource. Skill is the ability to build the right character and to create the right environment for success to happen. Wisdom and understanding are really coming from, or skill is built with those wisdom and understanding, and what it takes to get results come from those. It takes about 8 to 10 years for anybody to become an expert at anything, and that will even require continuous engagement, continuous focus, continuous effort. And entrepreneurship requires that. So if you can push a lot of effort and give yourself maybe 8,000 to 10,000 hours, and usually it's around 8 to 10 years, you become master or something. That's why most of the successful people you see across board, not just in business, anywhere, most of the people who we call authorities and experts have done a lot in terms of hours to become the expert that we say that they have become. The difference between those who have been able to build businesses beyond themselves, the ones that they don't have to be there for things to run, the ones that they are afraid to close the shop, they are afraid to leave the project for somebody to run. The difference is the others are able to build some kind of structures, some kind of systems, some kind of processes, procedures, that people can follow. The others who, they say that I don't trust anybody. I have to be there to make sure that nobody steals my money. I take the money to the bank myself. All those is because of our inability to put in some kind of procedures. And the entrepreneur that I am talking of is an entrepreneur that is able to build the business around such things, so that they will be able to create job. Because the essence of going through this process is to be able to create employment. The most successful entrepreneurs have created a lot of employment. The top billionaires that you see around the world, they employ thousands of people. That's why they are billionaires, actually. So if you're not employing anybody, it's likely that, and you have money, it's likely that it's not genuine money. Unless you're the queen or something like that. But most people who have the wealth, they have created a lot of opportunities, and usually it's through employing a lot of people. And you cannot employ a lot of people until you start to act in terms of systems and structures and processes and procedures, and you start to build codes that people can follow. So you need vision to do this. You need processes. You have to build. You take what is informal, because they say that our economy is informal. That's what they say. But you can formalize it when you bring in the systems and the structures everywhere in economy, whether you go to Makula or Adum, everywhere. If you see anything that anybody is doing, you can lift that same thing and build a business around it with systems and structures. So you need to develop the procedures, and the daily activities that you go through every day will help you, not only yourself but the people that you work with. So that is the fourth. The fifth one is personal character development. The personal character development is you need strong work ethics, and it is at the foundation of your business. If you can work well, you're not going to succeed. If you work and you're not getting results and you give up, you're not going to succeed. Everything rests on that character, the personal development that you have given to yourself. So That's the only bet that you have. If anybody, if anything fails, the failure will only be warranted because you have given up on yourself. So the more you develop yourself, the more you can succeed. The next one I want to talk about is the ideas, products, and services. Entrepreneurship is about creativity, it's about innovation. You have to learn how to turn an idea into product, and make sure you focus on products that will change the dynamics of our country. We focus a lot on things that are not changing anything. We celebrate a lot of people in areas that are not changing the prospects that we have as a continent, as a country. You have to make sure that the business that you're building will change the dynamics, at least in the area that you operate. Something that will bring significant progress, something that the country needs, something that the society needs. They're producing a lot of music, they're producing a lot of movies, and they have not changed anything. Why? Because we can do without them, the spouse, we can do, but we cannot do without the soap. We cannot do without the clothes, the shoes, the food. We cannot do without the houses. If you see any economy that is doing well, these are the things that we are bringing from China, the things that we are bringing from Brazil, the things that we are bringing from India. Can we make them as entrepreneurs, or can we better at least live some? Look around the locality. What is it that you can do that will really change the dynamics? Can you produce a house? Can you produce? There are so many problems that we have. Look at the waste. Look at water. Look at clothes. Look at there are so many things that we can do to better our lives, and I think that entrepreneurs must focus in these areas that will bring progress and development to our country. So focus on the areas that we really need. Take your education to the areas that you think they call them informal, and add your education to them. Use technology and management and leadership to change the dynamics. So there are so many examples. You can get into so many areas if you do and you do them well. So that is ideas. The next one will be, there will be dangers, there will be threats, there will be pitfalls, there will be mistakes. You don't need to run from them. Life is full of them: problems, challenges, mistakes. You see, the thing is that you are not skilled. You are trying to build the skill. And once you're not skilled and you're trying to build skill, there will be pitfalls, there will be mistakes, there will be errors, and they will refine you if you don't give up. When the child starts to walk, they fall. The child will fall and get up, fall. It's part of the process. And so once you start and you fall, don't run away and cry and say that your witch, your grandmother in the village is trying to kill you. No, it's business. it's entrepreneurship. You go through some things. You make it so many things. The thing is so obvious, yet you get it wrong. And the thing about it is that when there are errors and mistakes, they sometimes culminate into loss of money, loss of opportunities. But if you don't give up, and you succeed. So those who succeed are those who keep going, those who have stamina, not those who are intelligent, those who have stamina. Because eventually the one who is standing will be the one who will win. So mistakes and challenges, no, they are not cursed. So don't think that those are cursed or they are demonic. They are not demonic. They are part of the process. They are natural things that require processes and stages and procedures. So once you can use logic, reasoning, and you can use data to solve a lot of problems if you commit. So you by all means meet financial difficulties. People will run away, people will cheat you, people will lie. It's all part of the entrepreneurship processes. Don't we've you see, when you're completing school, they told you that everything was going to be perfect. It's not so much true. You're going to go through some things, you're going to learn, they're going to build you, they are going to build your muscle. When you start to lift when you go to the gym, you see the people with big muscle. When the first day they went, it was tough, but they kept going. They kept going, and then they became masters. And so if you meet any of these, whether it's financial challenge, whether it's people challenge, whether the idea is not working, whatever that will frustrate you, whether the challenge is even coming from yourself. So some people are so much weak innerly that they never commit to anything, and they're never sure of themselves. Even that, you have to still keep going and start to tell yourself that I have this kind of deficiency, so I have to work on it. All this, if you keep going, you will win, because people have won. So the entrepreneurship process, development, those are the things. You meet crook people, you meet people who will come, who lie, cheat. Some of them will threaten you. They're all part of the game. So that's why you need that sense of mission, that sense of purpose, that sense of identity. That's why you have to keep going at it, because it can be crazy. But nobody said that anybody succeeded without training. All the champions that you see anywhere, they had to deal with themselves. So once you start a business, be ready. It takes art, it takes craft, it takes science, it takes a lot of things to succeed. So if you get started and 2 months you're giving up, you're crying, staying staying there. You work for people that won't pay. You work for people that will run away. All kind of things can happen. But if you were skilled, if you knew, some of those things could not beat you. But once they beat you, it means that you were not skilled. And so you have to stay and pay your dues and learn and go through the process. And if you don't give up, you will get to a point where you start to see that everyone is so. Now you start to see. Now the same money, you understand it differently. Now the same product, you understand it differently. Now the same market, you understand it differently. The same people, you understand it differently. You can manage differently because now you can see clearly. But when you start, you just need a confidence. You just need a vim. You just need, because if you're very intelligent and if you're an expert, you never take the risk. Because you're ignorant, that's why you took that risk anyway. If otherwise, you will not take that risk to start a business. So that's fine. And that's how life is. So the next stage the next stage I will talk about is sales, marketing, branding, negotiation. You have to learn how to sell. Some people say that they have gone to school, so the people who have money know how to market, know how to brand, know how to negotiate, know how to sell. They drop their ego. It's a skill. If you don't learn it, that business is going to struggle. You have to learn how to fight. Without your ability to sell, promote, market yourself, your idea, your product has no chance succeeding. A lot of the times, those with degrees don't see selling as an entry into entrepreneurship. And if you look at the economy structure that we have, the best form of entry into entrepreneurship is you trying to sell something, not even trying to develop a product. Because once you develop the product, you still have to take that product to the market. But if you have built the skill to take anything to the market, once you start to produce something, you will know where to go. And projects and things like that are not the best way to enter a business, because most of them, they require a lot of skill and a lot of expertise, especially, let's say, construction. You want to enter entrepreneurship with construction, there's so many things that you will not know. And once you see, because the payment is coming from one person, you sign 1 million contract is coming from one person. If he screws you, you are dead. But if you sell something and one person screws you, it's just 1 city or 2 city. You have thousands that you can sell to. But and even the way to get a project, or the things around them, and you have to make sure that you keep your ethics. That will mean that there are things that you are not ready to compromise to get into. So the best way to start, I think, looking at the structure of the economy, is to start to sell something. Forget about what people say, buying and selling. They don't know. Selling is a skill. Selling is systemic. Selling requires a lot of process, a lot of expertise to go and convince somebody to take your idea, to take your product, and to give you money. It takes a lot of guts. You are in the school, you produce something, and you want to go from one room to the other to tell people that you're selling. The way they will look at you, they'll think that you're crazy, you're not serious. But when you are able to build that infrastructure, those channels, that is where you start to succeed as an entrepreneur. So whatever, even if you're making shoes, you have to sell it. If you're making phones, you have to sell them. If you're developing a software, you have to sell them. If you're producing food, you have to sell them. You must master it, whether it's direct sales or retail, whatever it is. Master that. Study it. There's a lot of data on selling. You cannot call yourself an entrepreneur if you don't master that. You have to be able to meet somebody and convince them so much that they will part with their money. And that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of effort. And the thing about it is that most all the courses that we are reading from all these schools, they don't teach nothing about selling. That's why when the guy comes to the office, he's shy. Some people come to sell insurance, and you look at them, the shoe is dirty, he's sweating, he's not happy, he's even, he wants to give up. He comes, you ask him any question, he's talking badly about the people who have given him job. Those kind of people are not sales people. When you meet the one who's selling, he's enthusiastic. He will take your money. And you as an entrepreneur must have that. And you must develop people. You must develop a culture that because the selling is what brings in the money. And if the money is not coming, it's not a business. So no matter how many years that you have done anything, if the money is not coming, it's not a business. And we have gone through a lot of those things ourselves where we thought we were doing business, but it was just a project because the money was not coming. So make sure you focus on things that will bring it. And the best of it is when you focus on some things that you can see revenue every day. Then the journey becomes a bit easy, a bit easier. Because if you focus on the ones that you are getting money 6 months, every 6 months, you give up. You give up. You give up. All your mistakes will come from the fact that your money was little. If you start to make money, the journey will be sweet, I tell you. The guys will like you. So a lot of the times, those who so focus. Don't focus on all those. A lot of the people we have sent to school, they focus on contracts, projects. No, don't focus on those. Master selling. Master whatever you're doing, develop something that you can every day get revenue. It's the best form. Once you're able to build channels, sell your product, use the social media. Some people say that I don't like to. Before we had GBC, before you could get into GBC, you had to pay millions to get to. We didn't even know how many people they were reaching. Now, almost zero. You can get to anybody else. So it depends on what you use the social media for. Depends. And if you're an entrepreneur, use it to build your business. Use it to build something. Launch yourself. You never know who is watching and who's, so daily cash flow is the lifeline to you succeeding. Daily cash flow is the lifeline to you succeeding. If you miss that, you screw for. And the next one I want to talk about is when you start to see rare results, because you must see results. If you're not seeing results, it's not a business, it's a project. Most people have product, they think that they are doing business. They have a product. It's not a business. Most people have project, they think they are doing business. The business runs the product. The business runs the project. Most people are at the product or the project stage. You need to succeed. If you will succeed if you keep at developing yourself, improving your services, improve your product, take care of your finances, provide the leadership, improve your team. When you start to succeed, don't waste the money. When you start to succeed, don't go and buy that car thinking that you are successful because of that car. Take care of the business, take care of the team. Don't go and buy that land because you started to see the first check. Once the business starts to struggle, you go and sell that land. And by the time you go there, the land guard will be there. Take care of the business. The business is in the Proverbs. Build business before you build your house. Make sure you take care of the machine. Make sure you take care of that thing that is able to bring in the revenue. So don't waste the money. Once the business starts to make, don't worry. You can stay in that one single room and still have 10 million, 20 million. It doesn't matter because your focus is different from the other person. The other person wants to own a house and a car. You want to build a business. It's different. You want to employ people. Your attention should be different. Your focus should be different. So when you start to succeed, don't waste the money. Don't waste the money. If you waste the money, you come back, and once your business is gone, it's not the business is gone, or you'll be left with debt. And usually it will be your only fight. You alone will be the one in the fight. So the other thing is that be patriotic. I've never seen a business person who is not patriotic of his country and who succeeds there. Be patriotic. Think about our country. What can you do? The business you're in is because of the heart that you have for people. You want to give them the best of service. If you don't love people, why are you in business? Because of money? No. Then just go and join politics and something like that. So love people, be patriotic about your country, look at what you can do to serve your country and be proud of it. That's one of the things that you will never give up. Because you know that what you're doing will change something in your country. No matter how much insignificant it is or it may seem. You become an example to people, and so the moment you start to talk badly about your country and all the negatives, because some people see only the negative in their country. You cannot be an entrepreneur, a great one, and only be pessimistic and negative about the country that you operate in, the country that you're brought up in, where you operate your business. You have to be optimistic. You are not, you don't. It's not like you are blind. No, but you need that positivity. You need that optimism to succeed in any country, in any community. You cannot be operating in that region and still be talking badly about him and think that you'll succeed. It's hard. Don't waste the money on cars and houses. I talk about it. And be careful and be respectful. Be respectful, be kind, love people. All that we are doing is for the love of people. Because when you love people, you become a good leader. When you love people, you treat them well. When you respect people, your business will succeed. Because the most complex thing in the business is the people. So once you focus on getting the best of, for the people, and nothing will destroy you. And continue to build yourself, continue to challenge yourself, continue to grow yourself, unless you're happy. And once you have love, they say never fails. It's scripture. So if you don't want to fail, if you don't want to fail, lift the love so high for the workers, for yourself, for the family, for the country, for everybody. And once you have that depth of love, nothing can stop you. Nothing can make you stop because then you will never give up. You continue to develop it because of the differences that you're making. So thank you very much. My name is Obendako. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch. And I've talked about entrepreneurs development process, and it's not like any other. People start to look for job, people start to look for politics, people start to start churches. You hear some people say that they are businessmen, they own church. You want to know what they started, whether they started the business before they started the church, or they started the church before and whether they build the business with the revenue of the business or they will have an extra. So it's a different thing. I'm talking about people who are really people like Dangote and those guys. Those are the people who have gone through the mills. They are, the mill. They have paid their dues. They have struggled. They have endured the pain, the struggle. And they still continue to be. I'm not talking about those who are just taking contract from government and making huge money and telling you that they are building business. That is project. They are just making money. I'm talking of somebody who has just completed school or who has been around for a while, who has this idea in his heart. He wants to build it, and the family does not trust that, the family does not even believe that you can build a business. Nobody believes you, and you believe in yourself. And take that idea. You meet your friends and you're hiding. You tell them that you are doing business, and they ask you, where is your office? Never hide. Your office is in your room. Be proud of it. Print your card, create a website, create a social media site, get to do business. You don't owe anybody an apology. Continue to build yourself. Be proud of what you're doing. You never know where it will lead you to. Just as they are proud of being employed somewhere, you have to be 1,000 times proud if you are going to succeed. Don't hide it. Just be proud. Be focused on it. Everything starts small. If you keep at it, it will grow. And you look back and say, wow, how did I get here? So be proud of it. And there's no way that you say that, oh no, I've completed school, nobody's employing me. Nobody's employing you, yes. But the first stage is maybe employ yourself. And from there, start to study the process. Maybe you may be able to turn it into a big business. No, nobody knows, and that the call is yours. It's not for anybody. The call is yours. And we need a lot of people to think like that. Think as a winner. Think big. Don't think weak. Don't talk yourself down. That business that you're doing, be proud of it. Even if you're making 1,000 a month, be proud of it. But hasten the learning process. Scale up, tool up. Look for people who think like you. Look for people who are going where you're going. Look for people who have been successful in building businesses. Look for their character as well. Look for friends who are think like that. Connect with people who are going where you're going. You cannot be an entrepreneur and all your friends are looking for a job. It will be very difficult. They will drain you. You will give up on your dream, And if you're going to do it with that kind of, thinking and mindset. Do that because you're going to go through a lot, but it pays off. Because the entrepreneur world, you have to deal with product, you have to deal with finance, you have to deal with all kind of things. Everybody, most people don't deal with anything. Just one. They work, they are paid. But you are going to deal with so many things, and hopefully you get paid. Hopefully you get paid. If you have never been in it, you have no idea what it is. But then, if you build your strength, if you build your skill, if you build on your strength, if you build on your expertise, you become very tough and you start to succeed. And go through the right process. Don't jump. Don't cut corners. There's no need. start to grow. Understand the economy that you're operating. There are some countries that you see that they have all the structures, maybe, but we don't have the structures. So you have to be double strong. You have to have the expertise double than the others, and you have to have that long-term thinking, and you have to be proud of yourself. Don't let the mistakes eat you. Eat the mistakes and continue to learn, and connect with all great minds. We are in the time of the internet. Connect with all the great minds. Lessen your time on trivialities and things that will not bring the best out of you. And focus more on the things that will strengthen the best out of you. And if you make mistakes, don't blame anybody. Look for the example. Look for the solutions yourself. And don't chase profit and somebody trying to give you some oil or sticker so that your business will not succeed, will succeed, and some other people attack you. No, you don't need all those. What you need is the confidence that you have what it takes to build that business. That way, you are in charge, because the essence of entrepreneurship is freedom. The essence of entrepreneurship is control. You want to create your own future. You want to create your own life. That's why you are an entrepreneur. You don't want nobody to tell you nothing. So if you're building a business out of fear and panic and fear of the unknown, you are not going to succeed. Somebody else will then control everything. When you make money, they will tell you if you don't bring them the money, then you're going to lose it. Don't go through that kind of thinking. God is that merciful. God is that loving. He's equipped you. He's allowed you. He's endowed you. The seed has the power to succeed. It doesn't need prayer. Just put it in the ground. It will explode. Same. We all have the same kind of power that the Creator gave us. So work yours. Put it in the ground. Just be a good person. Love people. Be clean. And never sleep. Continue to work to make sure that your business succeeds. Never give up. Change the plan if you have to, but never give up. And always be optimistic and hopeful. Even if it seems like gloomy, if it seems like it's never going to work, still keep hope alive for the time, because you need it. And surround yourself with people like that. Don't surround yourself with people who just talk negative. Everything will never work. They're always talking you down. Cut them if you can. Reduce their contact and connect with those who are going somewhere. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Obinako. Thank you very much for watching.